written evidence of the Anunnaki engaging mankind. One of the reasons why I think the Emerald Tablets grabbed my attention was because of these few verses right here, because they're really incredible. As soon as you go start in tablet 1, you have evidence of a great flood. Over the world then broke the great waters, drowning and sinking, changing earth's balance, until only the temple of light was left standing on the great mountain of Undal, still rising out of the water, some there who were living saved from the rush of the fountains. So we're now talking about a situation here where another flood account is being recorded, but extremely long ago, extremely farther back than I even thought was possible. I had no clue until I read this that there was a great flood that far ago that even covered up mountains. Called to me then the master, saying, gather ye my people, take them by the arts ye have learned, far across the waters, until ye reach the land of the hairy barbarians, dwelling in the caves of the desert. Follow there the plan that ye know of. So now the word is kind of recited. His dad Thought Me, who's also Enki, tells him, gather your crew together, I'm sending you on a mission. Go out there to the desert where the people who survived, he's calling them barbarians now. So obviously a couple of generations must have passed, and we must have fallen back into a low level of civilization. Right now, if there's an EMP pulse that knocks out all electronics, we'd be disconnected from communication globally and even locally. And eventually, if we can't fix these microchips and all the electronic devices, we're going to have to go back to other older archaic methods of survival, planting, growing, harvesting our own food, things like that. And if we can't figure out a solution, if we can't figure out how to fix these devices, what will happen is another generation will come that won't know anything about microchips and processors, and then another generation will come that don't even know microprocessors and chips even existed. And by the time you get to the third generation, they don't even know the cell phone existed. This is how you fall down in a cyclical civilization that we have the rise and fall. Gather then my people and entered into the great ship of the master. Now here's what made me want to stay on these tablets. Upward we rose into the morning. He got into a ship that went up, not out. That's what caught me. Instantly I recognized technology. They got into a spaceship or a craft that flies. Dark beneath us lay the temple. So they're obviously in the air. They're in the sky because they have a temple beneath them while they're in this ship. Vanished from Earth until the time appointed. So now they're in space. That's when I said, okay. I said, I'm all in now. I'm all into these tablets because this is an incredible story. Who could fabricate a story like this, yet alone in the 1920s, but now go back 36,000 years ago? It's just too incredible. Fast we fled toward the morning sun until beneath us lay the children of Chem. So they went to the land of Chem. So obviously this is where they wanted to kickstart civilization. Raging they came with cudgels and spears, lifted in anger, seeking to slay and utterly destroy the sons of Atlantis. So when they landed and opened the doors to their ship, the barbarians there wanted to attack them and probably even kill them. Territorial, whatever the case may be, they're scared. This is a threat to our land, our society, we gotta kill them. Then I raised my staff and directed a ray of vibration, striking them still in their tracks as fragments of stone of the mountain. So he then raises his staff and he sends out this ray beam. And we have the same exact thing right now in our military. It's called the active denial system. This active denial system is literally a vibration ray that is directed at a crowd or a riot, and it can do three things. It can make you feel like you're on fire, it can freeze you in your tracks, or it can make you so sick that you begin to vomit and turn around and go the other way. So we have the same exact thing I talk about in the book. I compare these technologies together. We just now rediscovered it and reinvented it, but it already existed back then. Long dwelt we in the land of Chem, long and yet long again, until obeying the commands of the master, who while sleeping yet lives eternally. This means his body is in one of these chambers, but he's operating somewhere else. I sent from me the sons of Atlantis, sent them in many directions, that from the womb of time wisdom might rise again in her children. So he told his crew, okay, we've been here for a long time in the land of Chem. We've rebuilt this high-level civilization. It's back. Okay, all right, you guys get over here, you guys get over here, you guys get four corners. You guys go duplicate what I did here, you duplicate here, you do. This is why you have pyramids in every single corner of the earth. They're all from one architect, Thoth the Atlantean. He was the master architect, the master designer, the keeper of wisdom, the teacher of knowledge and language. Then once his crew learned from him, he then what? He sent them all around the world to duplicate what he just achieved in the land of Chem. bringing mankind back to a higher level. Now, what they did was, when you go around the world, you see slightly different motif and decoration and the construction techniques, because everybody wants to put their own little touch on it. If I build a car and I teach you how to build a car, and let's say, now go ahead and duplicate it, build yourself a car. I give you all the materials to do it, and you go duplicate it. Your car is not going to be exactly like my car. You're going to be like, you know what, I want to put this over here and put that over here, and I want to add this little feature here that he didn't think about, whatever. It's going to be a car, but it's going to be slightly different. So this is why when you go all around the world, you see these pyramid structures, you see hundreds of sphinx, they're global. You see all the different building techniques and these global megalithic structures, they're all similar. And also, what do you see? You see a human race, but it has now been genetically modified with different markers. In other words, a black man didn't become black because his ancestors were in the sun. That's just, even as a kid I knew that was ridiculous. I laughed. When I first read that, I literally laughed. I chuckled. I mean, as a kid, I was chuckling. I said, come on guys, this is ridiculous. Okay, an indigenous person isn't yellow because, listen, the reason why we're different colors is because they genetically marketed us. If you read, and I read this biology book, I read this encyclopedia back in 1978 or 1979. They knew this a long time ago. There's a 2% variance in genetic material between the different races of people. And it would take literally multi-millions of years for that to just naturally occur. Are we a human race? Yes, we're all one race. Because you take away all this exterior stuff, it's still just a skeleton and a brainstem and a spinal cord column. Okay? But however, genetically, the avatar body itself has been branded. So if I'm the king that was told to take and go restart this civilization in this area, I'm going to put my genetic marker. Okay, my people are yellow. My people are blue. They had blue people in India at one time. My people are blue. My people are called white, Caucasian colored. My people, this is how it happened. It was not because of all this white people lived in the mountains so they became white. It's crazy stuff that they actually tell you in school. There's real science behind this, verified peer-reviewed science that shows we have a 2% variance genetically that causes these exterior differences. Okay, and it doesn't make anybody better than anybody. What it does, if they thought it would backfire, but in true reality in the future it's not gonna backfire, it's gonna come together because we all have a special gift that we can bring to the table. And when we all bring our gifts to the table, we create a beautiful picture. And that's the biggest part that people are missing. We're all individual and we're all special, but when we come together as one and unite, that's the true power. That's true power, and that's true revolutionary thinking. Coming together to go against this small amount that are ruling and controlling this planet. There's less than 100 people running and controlling 7.5 billion people on this planet. Just think about that for a minute. Think about that. 7.5 billion versus 100. I mean, I'll take those odds in a basketball game any day of the week. If I've got 7.5 billion teammates and we're going against 100 people on the court, we're going to win every time. But they have stolen our ability to recognize our power. And we've got to regain it. That's what all this is really about. You have to understand where you came from so you can figure out where you're going to go. And this is all about remembering who you truly are, remembering where you truly came from, and remembering that the divine spark is inside of you. And when we, hello? Testing. I think the battery might have went dead, no? Okay, thanks. I'm talking to batteries out of these things. Is that tight? Okay. So, when we realize that and we come together, we overthrow them. When there's a lot of these problems that are on the planet that we're facing, and we look around and we see the horrible stories all over the news and everything else, and online, and we get angry and frustrated and go, why are they doing this to us? And blah, 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 blah. This is crazy. But you know what? We keep participating. So we're in full collusion with the system, whether we want to admit it or not. I mean, when you leave out of here, you might go, have money come out of an ATM machine so you can pay for your dinner or something. That's the system. I mean, we're part of it. We're in the matrix. I mean, just admit it. We are in the matrix. You're going to go home, and as soon as the first comes around, you're going to send that mortgage payment or that rent payment in. You're going to pay those taxes. We're participating in a system. And the goal here is to get enough conscious souls on this planet that are relinquished from fear. And the revolution of consciousness is going to have a side effect, and that side effect is going to be we're all going to say no. No, I'm not going to go to work on Monday morning. No, I'm not going to pay my taxes. No, I'm not going to keep my money in your centralized banking system. I'm going to remove all my cash. I'm going to liquidate all my assets. No, I'm not going to participate in fuel. I'm not going to buy gas this week. No, I'm not going to even go to the grocery store. And we're going to see what happens in 1 week when 30, 40, 50, 60 million people say no at one time. No need for wars. No need for running down the street and picketing. No need for riots. No need to get an attack against the police force and all this crazy stuff like you see in these other countries right now. You see like, in Hong Kong, they're battling the police in the streets and everything else. All you gotta do is stay at home and just say, I'm done. What are they gonna do when 40 million people don't make a mortgage payment on the first of the month? What are they gonna do when 40 million people don't show up at their jobs? You see what I'm saying? We have so much power, but we relinquish the power because out of fear, we feel we have to keep participating in the system. And until we have enough conscious souls, don't get me wrong, we have to play in the matrix. That's just the nature of the beast right now. But once we get to a point where there's enough conscious souls, and this is what I talked about earlier, we're planting seeds for a tree that we're never going to sit in the shade of. It's potentially going to happen sometime in the future, but this is the seed laying part right now. You have to lay those seeds, you have to drop those seeds and water them, or it's never going to happen, So, a couple more here and we're done for the day. We're going to go into some really deep stuff tomorrow. I felt the Atlantean, master of mysteries, keeper of records, mighty king magician, living from generation to generation, being about to pass into the halls of Amenti. These records of the mighty wisdom of the great Atlantis, set down for the guidance of those that are to come after. In the great city of Kior on the island of Undal, in a time far past, I began this incarnation. In these passages, we can clearly see already that the tone is set for reincarnation and regeneration. Very similar to the biblical statement in Corinthians 5:2-7, we grow weary in our present bodies. We long to put our heavenly bodies, on our heavenly bodies like a new clothing, for we will put on new heavenly bodies. So basically, the whole Bible is really about reincarnation when you really analyze it and break it down. Many times you're told you're going to get a new body and a new name. That's reincarnation. It's supposed to be a physical body as well. It's not supposed to be this etherical, mystery-like body. It's really a physical body that you're being given. But they've altered it in so many different ways that you can't perceive exactly what is supposed to be taught there. But it's all about reincarnation and everything else. The wise man lets his heart overflow, but keeps silent in his mouth. O man, listen to the voice of wisdom. Listen to the voice of light. Mysteries there are in the cosmos that unveiled fill the world with their light. Let he who would be free from the bonds of darkness first divine the material from the immaterial, the fire of the earth. For ye know that as earth descends to earth, so also fire ascends into fire and becomes one with fire. He who knows the fire that is within himself shall ascend until eternal fire and dwell in it eternally. Fire, the inner fire, is the most potent of all force, for it overcometh all things and penetrates into all things in the earth. That's powerful. That's powerful, guys. That's telling you right there, you are God, and the power that's inside of you has the capability of overcoming anything, persevering anything, outdoing any situation. There's nothing too hard, too brash, too desperate. There's nothing that you couldn't overcome. The power and the fire is literally inside of you. Man supports himself only on man supports himself only that which resists. So earth must resist man, else he existeth not. It's just a test, guys. All eyes do not see with the same vision, for no one an object appears of one form and color, and to the different eye another. So also infinite fire, changing from color to color, is never the same from day to day. Thus I speak, though, of my wisdom, for a man is fire, burning bright through the night, never is quenched in the veil of darkness, never is quenched by the veil of night. Into men's hearts I looked by my wisdom, found them not free from the bondages of strife, free from the toils, thy fire, O my brother, least be buried in the shadow of night. Hark ye, O man, and listen to the wisdom. Where do name of form and cease? Only in consciousness is invisible and infinite force, radiance bright. The forms ye create by brightening their vision are truly effects that follow that cause. Man is a star bound to a body. Until the end, he is freed through his strife. Only by struggling and toiling, thy utmost shall star within thee bloom out of life. He who knows the commencement of all things, he is a star from the realm of the night. Hi, my name is Billy Carson. I'm the president of Forbidden Knowledge. Are you looking for an amazing opportunity that you can invest in that's already generating revenue? A company that's already making money and profits right now today? Well, look no further. Forbidden Knowledge. We have our own streaming TV network. We're now approved and streaming already on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, the iOS App Store, Google Play Store, and the web. We have over 5,200 amazing shows with over 22,000 subscribers. We just reached our 1-year anniversary, and we have a phenomenal base with huge potential upside. We're looking to be 3 times this size by this time next year, and you can be a big part of that. So please review this information and join us at Forbidden Knowledge. Thank you. You are watching Forbidden Knowledge TV.